Greetings and welcome back to Doctor Who Revisited, my ongoing series where I go through every single Doctor Who episode from 1963 all the way up to 2022 and review them. And this time we're still not talking about the TV show because we got the second Peter Cushing movie to talk about, Doctor Who and the Daleks, Dalek Invasion of Earth 2150. I can never get the title right. I think it's Doctor Who, the Daleks Invasion Earth 2150. I can never really remember, but who cares? It's, you know the one I'm talking about, the second Peter Cushing movie with the Daleks, based on the original The Daleks Invasion of Earth from the season 2 of the original show, and the one with Bernard Cribbins in it. You know what? That's really the easiest descriptor I can give you. Now, just like with the first one, I said it on my review for the first one that I did a couple of, the last review that I did on this channel. And, for years, I have stayed away from both of these two movies. I felt they were completely unnecessary. They were a shell of the original stories on the television, and just, I did not like them. I did not enjoy them. I felt that they took away from what I loved about the original stories to begin with. Great production design, but I did not really like any of the characters in it. Didn't really like the portrayal of some of the themes from those original stories. And for years, I haven't watched them. Until now. And while I still stand my ground about the first one, the second one, though, I really, really liked. The second time around I watched it. And, maybe I've mellowed over the years. Maybe it's been so long since I've seen the original. My opinions on it are now different. I don't know what it is. I just really liked it. I didn't like the beginning of it. I felt it was too much similar to the previous Peter Cushing one, which I still don't like. I just didn't like how they made fun of a lot of the things that I enjoyed about those original ones. That's really my thing with it. I did not enjoy how they basically took the story and made it into a comedy. And I thought I was going to hate the second one even more so because it's a much more serious story. One of my favorite things about the original one from the TV show is that it's basically a Holocaust story. In a way. Like, it's really just a Holocaust story with the Daleks serving as Nazis, which is weird because, it's not weird, it's appropriate because that's what the Daleks are originally based on. Like, if you still operate on some weird assumption that Doctor Who is never political, guess what the Daleks are based on? Now, having said that, even though it's in living color, and clearly it's much more sci-fi orientated than the TV show counterpart, it still does manage to maintain the Holocaust movie aesthetic to it. And remember, this is still 1966 when that movie came out. The Holocaust was still fresh in everybody's minds. It's not like today where it's like 80 or almost 90 years removed from World War II. So first of all, obviously we gotta address some of the differences before we talk about some of the similarities. Obviously, the opening is different, opening with Bernard Cribbins' character running to go get a police box, to go into a police box to try to stop a robbery. Felt that was a little too goofy, but when put in the context of the rest of the movie, it does actually kind of fit. I don't know what it is. It just reminded me too much of the previous one with Ian, so maybe that's why I didn't like it as much. But first of all, they changed some of the cast of companions, starting obviously with Bernard Cribbins' character. Can't remember the name of the character at the moment. I apologize. It's been a few days since I've seen it, and to when I'm actually sitting down here and recording. But yeah, they got rid of the Ian character from the first one, which I hated, because they took one of my favorite companions and they made him into a poor shell of himself. They got rid of the Barbara character from the first one, which, to be honest, I don't really have any opinion on her. Like, she's definitely not the Barbara from the TV show, but she really doesn't bring anything special to the table. Like, she doesn't really stand out as much. And they replaced her with a new character called Louise. And first of all, oh my goodness, she's beautiful. Hard to take her eyes off her. And you know what else? She's actually contributing to the story, as opposed to the other Barbara from the movie. Now, granted, obviously, story's a little bit different. And if you actually pair the original TV ones, the original TV version of the Daleks, and the original TV version of the Daleks' Invasion of Earth, Barbara does actually have much more to do in the second one as opposed to the first one, but she still does contribute more in the first one on television than the Barbara character did in the movie version. And this also kind of goes into something that I keep saying about the TV show. In this particular era where you have no less than 3 companions at any given moment, you need to find something for each one of those companions to do. And just like in the original, they nailed it in this story. And they gave something for Doctor Who. I'm not going to call him the Doctor because his name is Doctor Who in this movie. They gave something for Doctor Who and the Bernard Cribbins character to do. They gave something separate for Louise and Susan. Very similar to what happened in the original TV version. I think the David Campbell character was less significant in this one than he was in the original. Obviously, they changed a lot of stuff. They took a lot of stuff from the TV version. And I have had this argument with a friend of mine saying that he prefers this version to the TV version because it's much more centered, like it's much more focused. He felt like the original TV version is a little too overstuffed and too fluff, and just there's too much there. So he prefers this version, which is a lot shorter. And obviously, that like I was going to say, they took away the bomb from one of the episodes, the bomb that was supposed to go off and destroy all of London, and that the Dr. Susan and David had to defuse. They took away the slither, which, you know, probably for the best, I guess. But they still kept a lot of the core elements of it, like obviously the Dalek rising out of the waters of the Thames. There's those scenes in the Dalek spaceship when Doctor Who, David and that other character need to solve a puzzle in order to get out of the spaceship. They cut out the storyline with the guy in the spaceship that becomes a Roboman that then is revealed to be the brother of some other guy who helped Ian. They cut a lot of the stuff out with Ian in the shaft. But overall, I think the stuff that they kept is still good and make up for the other storylines and story plots that they decided not to keep. And I liked the track that Doctor Who, and I think at that point, I can't remember exactly, but I think at this point it was the David character that they walked from London all the way to that mine. And I just love that they actually show us the journey this time as opposed to mostly skipping it. And I think in the original they mostly just focused on Barbara and Susan, and I think that other character, I can't remember. I think, yeah, I'm sorry, I just don't remember. But their journey with the truck, they sort of shortened that part in this movie to focus more on Doctor Who and the David character. I think it's the David character getting to the mine. Meanwhile, the Bernard Cribbins character is on the spaceship in one of the funniest scenes in any Doctor Who related material ever. Just him pretending to be an android and the whole walking like an android, taking the food, sitting down, taking the food and eating it, and then taking some more food. Yeah, that was hilarious. I could not for the life of me remember this moment when I watched it for the first time. Like, all I could remember from the watching it the first time is that they changed the roster of companions, and that it was basically just the recreation of the Daleks' Invasion of Earth, and the only main difference was that they cut out the revolt of the Roboman at the end, and instead replaced it with the gravity thing sucking up all the Daleks into the shaft. That's all I could remember from watching the first one years and years ago. But yeah, that character that spent the majority of the time escorting Susan to the other side of London, I really liked that character. And one thing that I gotta say is kind of really pointless is the message that Susan left for her grandfather. And she wrote it with chalk on the wall, and then he never sees it. So why would you even introduce that into the movie if he's gonna completely miss it? If he missed it the first time around when he walks in through the door, because first of all, what a stupid way to leave a message for somebody. You know, like, now she didn't leave a note at a very visible place. She just wrote it on the wall. A wall she knows slides to the side, and no one's ever gonna see what's written on the wall. So that's just stupid. And the design of the refugee camp or the base or the bunker where all the the human freedom fighters were fighting against the Daleks, I think it looked way better in the original, and I liked the entrance and how they sort of kept it secret from the Daleks. Didn't quite like what it looked like in this version, and I think they also cut out a lot of the scenes of just the Daleks rolling around in iconic London landmarks, like the Westminster Bridge. I think it was the Westminster Bridge, I can't remember. But right next to Big Ben and Trafalgar Square and all these other locations that was in the original. I think they pretty much cut out all of that. Now, obviously, it's understandable. Those scenes didn't really do much, except, just add more screen time of the Daleks running around London. Suppose you didn't really need it in this movie, but whatever. Another similarity is the two women who are sewing clothes for the people working in the mines that eventually sell out the companions to the Daleks in return for some food. I think in the original they did it to Barbara, Susan, and that other woman character that I can't remember her name at the moment. And in this one instead they did it to Susan and the guy she was with. And it's like I said, they found a different thing for each of the characters to do that still serves the story, but is still in some ways different from the original. There's the one guy, the guy that runs black market dealings between the mine and people trying to get out of the mine. The guy that Doctor Who and the David character met. I really liked his portrayal of the character, and I liked his betrayal. I think in the original he betrayed Ian and his friend, who was somehow the brother of the guy from the ship earlier, and the guy who was running the refugee camp. And the guy running the refugee camp actually helped Louise get to safety and hide somewhere. I'm getting the whole movie kind of mixed up with the original in my head. Maybe I should have sat down and recorded this review immediately after I watched it, but too late for that now. But yeah, overall I liked it. The Daleks themselves still bother me. They have even more colors, and they sort of updated their design with the bars, the solar panels on the sides of the midsection. Really, that was the only major difference, and the fact that they introduced some new colors, which again didn't really serve any purpose, just like in the previous one. Like in the original TV version, they introduced the Black Dalek, so there is some sort of a Dalek hierarchy that served a purpose. In this one, there's the regular Daleks, there's the blue Daleks, there's a black Dalek, a red Dalek, a gold Dalek. Really, what was the point of all these different colors? Unless I'm missing something, all of them were doing pretty much the same thing. No one Dalek was more important than the other. So, like, why introduce the concept of multicolored Daleks if they don't serve a purpose? Like, remember, they're supposed to be based on Nazis. Nazis had a way of differentiating rank. Like, they were all unified in unison. They were all the same. And that's really kind of the point of the Daleks. They all look identical. They look the same. Anyone who looks different, who has different coloring on their casing, is higher up on the ranks. So, again, why would you introduce so many different colored Daleks? I guess to sell toys. I suppose that's one way of looking at it. But yeah, still like the voice. I think the voice is even better in this version than in the previous one. But, they still look incredibly goofy and plasticky. And I don't know what it is. I'm not the biggest fan of the Daleks in the Peter Cushing movies. But like I said, the story's still good. Still maintains the Holocaust movie aesthetic. that the original TV version has. And I think the really good effects. The production design looks amazing. It's nice to see that they actually did pour all the budget that they had into this, into making the scenes in London look great. I'm not the biggest fan of how the Robomen looked like. That seems a little too sci-fi-ish to me. I much prefer, as goofy as they looked, I much prefer the Robomen from the original story, the TV story. But the way London, the destroyed London looks, and do we get to actually see more of the destroyed London in this one as opposed to the previous one, the original, the TV one, because more budget. But yeah, great production design, used to great effect. I like the way the spaceship looked inside and outside. The mine looks really good. I like the scene where the Daleks just turn on the black market guy that sells Doctor Who and the other people out, and then just trap him inside that shed and destroy it by surrounding it and shooting all in unison. Still hate the way the weapons fire, but whatever. The destruction of the shed looks really good. Yeah, not much else to say about it other than I like it better than than the first time I watched it. This is definitely one that I would look back fondly of, but still, if given the chance, I'm watching the original one from the TV show. Like, there really is no point in revisiting this one other than just, you know, if you're doing a rewatch of everything, like what I'm doing right now. Like, it's not one that if I want to rewatch the Daleks invasion of Earth, I'm not picking this one. I'm picking the original one. And hey, maybe that's a problem with me, but, you know, the TV, to me, the TV show comes first, and then all this supplementary material, which is what this movie is, all that comes second, in my opinion. But yeah, there really isn't much else left for me to talk about. This review somehow ended up being shorter than the review for the previous one, even though I liked this one better. But well, it is what it is. So next time I will be going back into the TV show realm with Season 4, William Hartnell's final season as the Doctor. Can't say I'm looking forward to that, but, you know, gonna cross that bridge when I get to it. So thank you for watching if you have, and let me know what you think about the Peter Cushing Dalek movies, and which one do you prefer, the Peter Cushing movies or the original TV versions? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you some other time. Goodbye for now. Hi there! Thank you for watching the video. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends. I'll see you next time.